everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be sort of a post-Christmas organize and declutter, specifically focusing on my son's nursery and all of his new toys, as well as switching out some of his old toys. I am also going to be adding some removable carpet to the nursery, and this is the part of today's video that I am most excited about, but I will talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Right now I'm just getting the room ready to be vacuumed and mopped so that the floors are nice and clean for when I put down the carpet. So I went ahead and removed this awful dirty white rug that was a terrible idea to put in the nursery, and my husband will tell you that he told me that when I bought a white rug for the nursery. And I said, no, I think it'll be easy to clean, and it was not easy to clean. So getting rid of this dirty white rug that spot cleaning has not done much for. And I went ahead and moved the rocking chair so that I could vacuum underneath it. And I would just like to put a disclaimer that we live in a super dusty climate, so you're going to see a lot of dust under our furniture. I hadn't cleaned under it in a little bit, and then we also have been out of town for about 3 weeks, so the dust really hasn't been like getting kicked around or anything, and it's all just been coming under the door frames and collecting in these spaces. So there's a lot of dust that I'm so glad I finally cleaned and got out of there, because that can't be good to be breathing all of that in. So we did a nice vacuum and mop of the entire room and got all of that dust out of there. It was also super dusty under Carter's dresser, but the vacuum didn't get it very well, and it was super heavy to try and move the whole thing. And so what I ended up doing was just taking a little duster and using that underneath it, and that ended up working really well. And I pulled out some really disgusting clumps of hair and dust. Now that the floors were clean, I was able to start laying down the carpet, and I would like to thank Mateus for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Mateus removable carpet squares are glue-free and tape-free, which makes them a renter-friendly home decor option. The carpet squares stay in place using static friction, and it truly does work. We've been playing on the floor and moving furniture around on it for a few days now, and it doesn't budge at all. That being said, it's also super easy to peel up each carpet square, and you can even just pick up one section to hand wash if you have a spill or a stain. You can also vacuum the carpet without causing any damage to it. We have these wood floors all throughout our home, and while I normally love them, I've been wanting a safe and soft space for Carter to be able to explore freely now that he's crawling, so this carpet has been such a blessing. One interesting thing that we've noticed is that Carter is normally kind of an odd crawler. I know a lot of babies do it, but he crawls where he has like one foot up with like his knee bent, and then the other leg he kind of slides underneath him so that he's not really crawling on either of his knees. And we've noticed ever since putting this carpet in, whenever we're in the nursery playing with him, he actually crawls the normal way on both of his knees. So we realized that he may have just been crawling like that to avoid hurting his knees on our hard floor surfaces in the rest of the house. So I am so glad that we made this decision to work with Mateus and to put in this removable carpet. So as you can see, it's super easy to install. You literally just peel off the backing and then it sticks right to the floor without any kind of sticky residue or anything like that. And you can see when I move the crib on it, it's not budging at all, even though it's not glued to the floor at all. This carpet flows from one to another so seamlessly, and that is because the arrows on the backing show you which direction to point your carpet. So you just pick a direction and point them all that way, and then you won't see the lines in between quite as much. I didn't quite have enough carpet to cover the entire nursery floor, so I decided not to put it under the dresser or in the spot where Carter's tent goes, and I think it still looks great. I really like how it turned out for now, but it's also nice to know that it will be easy to order and install more if I want to in the future. With Matisse, you can choose carpet squares or carpet planks, which are a little bit bigger than the carpet squares, and you can also choose different colors. You could alternate colors, or you could do even some kind of like design on the floor using different color tiles. You can really customize it to whatever you think your space needs. Once I had installed the carpet for the majority of the room, I went ahead and moved Carter's tent back into the space that I was leaving blank just to make sure that I liked it there. And then it was time to start cutting carpet to fit some of the more awkward spaces in the room. When I first received the carpet, I was a little nervous about cutting it to fit our nursery because it's honestly a very oddly shaped room, but it was super easy to cut with a carpet knife, even easier than I'm making it look here because I'm just not one with tools, but it seriously was a lot easier than it looks. My friend Catherine had the idea for using the backing of the carpet tiles as a straight line for cutting some of these odd angles, and that worked really well for us. I've also seen people just use like an X-Acto knife or something like that straight onto the floor and cut it in place, which would be a lot easier, but I was terrified of cutting our floors at all because we are renting our home right now. Here's how the carpet turned out in the nursery. If you have a space that needs some removable carpet, you can click the link in the description box and use my code BABY18 for 18% off your order. So moving to the playpen in our living room for a minute, this is where the majority of Carter's toys are at any given time because we spend a lot of time out in our living room playing in the playpen with him. It's just a great way to keep him kind of contained so that he's not crawling and getting into everything. So I really wanted to organize some of his old toys and put some of them away that we don't really play with anymore, kind of rotate them out. And then also I wanted to put some of the ones that he does still play with in the nursery and put some of his new Christmas toys out here in the playpen. It took me a few minutes to kind of figure out what my organization system even was, but I started on the right side of your screen. You'll see I'm putting the toys that I know he still plays with often and are still really great learning opportunities for him. So I put those on the right because I want to put those in the nursery in a spot where he can easily have access to them. And then on the left, I'm kind of collecting some that we don't use them quite as often anymore. Some of them are from the early Love Every kits that we get, and then some of them are like teethers or just like little black and white crinkle toys, that kind of thing. So I put those over there, and then I had this bucket of toys to go through as well. And then I also was collecting some of the books because I really wanted to sort through the Christmas books and pull those out and set them aside for next year. And then he also got a new little bookshelf from Santa that I'm going to be organizing in the nursery as well. We have a little cube organizer in Carter's closet that I'm going to be organizing later in the video because it's kind of a mess right now, but I filled one of these cubes with the toys that I want him to have easy access to, and I left these other two out so that I could put them on a shelf. So I still need to find some kind of basket for his stuffed animals, but the playpen looked pretty empty after I did that, and so I went and started going through all of his new toys. We had honestly just shoved all his new toys in the guest room so that I could organize them because he's 11 months old and he had no idea that they were even missing. So we just did that for about a day while I got all of this done. All I'm doing here is opening gifts that need to be opened and kind of separating out what's going in each room and just kind of trying to remember everything that he got because there were obviously a lot of toys and I'm so grateful for that. And I also blew up this little soccer ball that my brother got for him. While Carter was napping, I laid out a bunch of his new toys in the playpen, so he was super excited when he woke up and had all of these new toys to play with. Okay, you'll see an outfit change here because it's the next day, but moving on to this super cluttered and kind of dusty closet, you're about to see even more dust that has collected in this room. We honestly have not even been going into this closet very often lately because we're just kind of storing a lot of the books that are meant for a different season, or we just don't read them as often right now. And then we've got some extra stuffed animals and then a lot of the blankets. And I also have just like a lot of his clothes that are better hung up, so like some of his jackets and his little like bear suits and things like that. So I went ahead and cleared off all of the shelves and then gave them a good wipe down and got all of the dust out of there. Then I cleaned off the top of the shelves, and this is a lot of like our baby carrier wraps that we haven't been using as often, and then just some miscellaneous items. There were some shoes, there was this little toy that we used to use, his little baby book. Like, it was just, some of it was sentimental and some of it was just miscellaneous that I had just thrown there at one point or another. After that was clean, I brought in the bins from yesterday. I put the one with the toys that we're not going to use as often more towards the top, and then these ones at the bottom are the toys that I want him to have easy access to. I separated his holiday books like Christmas, Halloween, Easter, things like that. I separated those from his normal books, and I decided to put the seasonal ones on the top shelf since he won't need to get to those as often as these other ones that kind of work for year-round. This basket became kind of a miscellaneous basket. I put all of his Love Every books that we've gotten in there, and then some of the more sentimental items as well. If I have one organization tip for you, it's to give everything a specific place. Even if you need to have a bin that is kind of collectively more miscellaneous items, do it. Put them in a bin, put them in a container. It helps so much with keeping things organized and just decreasing any clutter that you may have on your surfaces. I hung up all of his beautiful baby blankets that had previously been folded and put on the shelves. I figured this was a better way to save space and display them as well. Carter doesn't have very many pairs of shoes yet, but I put the ones that I found in this little bin, and I'll add to it as he starts walking and needing shoes more. I'm so sorry that you're staring at the back of my head in this clip because there's a giant line in my hair, and that is because I was wearing my hair in a ponytail earlier in the day. But we're just going to ignore that and give me a pass because it's mom life. Here's how the closet looks after I organized it, and I feel like people are going to ask me, but the other side has his boppies and some of his clothes that he's grown out of and things like that. Green blackout curtains for the nursery, and they were the wrong size. So here's me realizing that and being sad and laughing at myself a little bit too. I decided to just leave the pink curtains for now, even though they totally don't match the vibe, and I ordered some new green ones on Amazon. Now I'm setting up Carter's new little bookcase, and this was such a special gift from Santa because this little boy truly loves to read. He always will snuggle up in my lap and read a book at any point during the day, and his favorite are the touchy-feely books where you can like feel the textures on the pages, and he thinks that all books are like that. So even when we're reading a book that doesn't have those, he'll sit there and try to feel every single page. I decided to keep his tent more minimal and not put in the colorful blankets that we had been using to lay him on when he was younger. And then I also added his new little bike that he got for Christmas from his grandma to the room. Here's a little overview of how the room looks now that it's freshly organized. We've added the carpet and just kind of simplified the decor a little bit. I think the space feels so much cleaner and bigger, and it's just the perfect space now for Carter to crawl around and for me to just let him kind of have free range and read a book or play with his new toys or whatever it is that he wants to do. I left the sound on for this next clip because it's Carter exploring his brand new carpeted nursery, but thank you so much for watching today, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some motivation to clean and organize your spaces after the holidays. And don't forget, you can use my code BABY18 for 18% off your order of removable carpet. What do you think? It's carpet. You see your bookcase?
Come here.